Hi, I'm here to give a talk to the kids today.
Okay, good morning, sir. You're here to see, sir?
Mr. Victoria.
Mr. Victoria, okay.
I'm Dr. Whitney.
ID.
Okay.
Scan you in, get you a pass. Here you go, sir. Here's your ID. And here's your pass.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome, sir. Dr. Whitney, this is Mr. Victoria.
Oh, nice to meet you, sir.
Good to meet you.
Let's go talk with some kids.
Absolutely. Follow me, please.
I saw that article in Newsweek. It was front cover. What makes good schools? It all starts with good teachers. You ask teachers, what makes good schools? And they say it all starts with good parents.
Everybody wants to point the finger somewhere else.
Yeah.
Morning. How are you?
Good morning to you. I'm going to ask a question of all you kids here. When you get out of school, how would you like to have a really nice house to live in? Swimming pool, that kind of stuff? How many of y'all would like that? How would like cars? How many would like to have a nice car when you get out of school? Absolutely. How many would like to have nice clothes and cool vacations? Really go to neat places? Absolutely. Well, let me tell you something that happened to me. I grew up in a really terrible neighborhood in Washington, D.C. I was the only white kid in an all African-American neighborhood. And to be honest with you, when I was a little kid, all I wanted to do was fit in with the other kids in the neighborhood. You know, I was not a leader. I was what you call a total follower. If the kids in the neighborhood said, let's do something bad, I said, I'm in. I just wanted to fit in. They wanted to do some stealing, I went along with it. Drinking alcohol, I went along with it. Vandalizing, destroying property, I went along with it. I did everything. And it's very interesting, when I was in 8th grade, basketball is super big in D.C. It's big here in San Antonio, it's even bigger in Washington, D.C. And we all wanted to be NBA All-Stars. And I had an opportunity to go to a basketball camp that was taught by a coach who actually had 5 national championship teams, Morgan Wooten. And he said day one in the camp, he said, if you want to be good on the court, you've got to be good off the court. And that made a lot of sense to me because I was hungover so many days, you know, because we drank a lot of vodka and stuff. Interesting. And then the second day was what I call the fork in the road for me as a person. The local hero, John Austin, came to the camp and he said, how many of y'all think you're going to make the NBA and be an all-star? All of our hands went up. And he said, you know what? I was 5-time All-American, okay, Player of the Year in San Antonio, and I just got cut by the Celtics. He says, you know what? I play basketball for fun, and I play on weekends, and I got a great job, and I make a lot of money. But let me tell you something. In the real world, you get paid for brains. And fortunately, I studied in college, I studied in high school, and I got a great job that I like. And in the real world, you get paid for brains, and actually, the fun jobs pay more money. He says, all you guys think you're going to make the NBA? I got news for you. None of you are going to make the NBA. You're going to get ahead in life by getting an education. He said, for every hour you spend playing basketball, you better spend 1 or 2 hours studying. And I'm sitting here, I'm 5'3", 120 pounds, and I said, this guy's talking to me. And after that, I quit hanging around with the dregs in the neighborhood. I was either playing basketball or studying. I got an academic scholarship to college. I played college basketball for 1 year, and then I ended up playing football, which I was better at than basketball in college. And I got an academic scholarship to medical school through the Air Force. And it's very interesting. It was 3rd year of medical school. I was at D.C. General Hospital, and I'm taking care of this guy who got shot in the chest during a gun battle with the police. He was robbing a store. He was paralyzed from here down. He was a wreck, total wreck. And who was this young guy that I was taking care of? He was my neighbor. We grew up together. We stole together. We drank together. We vandalized together. We did all this crazy stuff. Here I'm going way up, and this guy's on the floor. And then I realized, why were we so different when we were so alike 13 years previously? The answer is, I went to the basketball camp. John Austin taught me that this is what really counts in life, your brain. The most precious thing you own is your brain. Now, let me just give you, I'm a small businessman, a cardiologist. I have 18 people that work for me, okay? And let me just give you Economics 101. I have 2 people that are high school dropouts and work for me, okay? Every day, Monday through Friday. What do they do? Anybody know? Every office has to have one. Janitor, absolutely. Okay? Now, how much do I pay my janitors? About $9 an hour, plus benefits, health, and that sort of stuff. Okay? Now, I'm not being disrespectful of a janitor. I view a janitor, I was a janitor in college in the summer. You know, I know what a hard job that is. If somebody's a janitor, you know what that tells me about them? They really love their families to do that kind of work. Very low pay, and it's not fun. Okay? But my janitors make $9, $10 an hour. Okay, now I got a couple of people that work for me that are high school graduates. They learn the computers, they schedule people, they make sure they get into the hospital for their testing, get to the cath lab where they get their heart studies. You know, how much do I pay my high school graduates? I pay them about $15 an hour. Okay? Better pay. Now I've got an LVN that works for me. She has 2 years of college in addition to high school. How much do you think I pay my LVN, licensed vocational nurse? $20, absolutely, $20 an hour. I've got a registered nurse who works for me. Okay, she has 4 years of college. 30 bucks an hour. Okay? And I have a physician's assistant who works for me. Now he's got high school, 4 years of college, and 2 years on top of that to help me take care of patients. He's a physician's assistant. How much do you think he makes? 50 bucks an hour. Okay? Now I'm a cardiologist. I had high school, 4 years of college, 4 years of medical school, 3 years of internship and residency, and then 3 years of fellowship in cardiology after that. Plus I was an allergist. I have 15 years after high school. How much do you think I make an hour? $200 an hour. Okay? Now, I just want to ask you something. Do you think you would have more fun in life making $200 an hour or making $10 an hour? 200. Absolutely. Absolutely. So you figure out where you want to go in life, and then you figure out how much education you want, because there's a direct correlation between how much education you have, okay, and how much money you're going to make. Does everybody understand that? Your brain is the single most important thing that you possess in life. Now, it's interesting. What are the impediments to getting your brain in gear and really getting ahead in life in school? How do you really become a good student? Well, I found out in 8th grade when I quit drinking, I was a pretty good student. I was pretty smart. I had no idea how much it was wrecking my brain. I went from being a mediocre C, B, D student to straight A's. It's interesting. Let me tell you a story about my echo tech, Joe. I still work at Northeast Baptist Hospital. And they had an echo tech there who was very good with the probe. He really gave high-quality heart studies, helped me figure out what was wrong with people. And he was working there year after year after year. Now, the echo techs that work in the hospital, they don't make a half as much as an echo tech who works in a doctor's office. You know what the difference is, right? An echo tech in the hospital has to work as a supervised employee. Okay? They have to pass a test to show that they really know their stuff to get certified as an echo tech. And I'm sitting here, and Joe was a good tech there year after year. I said, Joe, why are you still working here? Why aren't you out in an office? He says, well, Dr. Whitney, I just can't pass the test. I says, Joe, are you studying? He says, yeah, Dr. Whitney, every day I come home after work and I sit down and I study for an hour and a half. And I've been doing this for 4 years. I just can't pass that test. I says, well, are you playing music, while you're studying? No, I just sit down and have a couple of beers and relax after a day of work. I says, you have to be kidding me. You have to be kidding me. He says, no. I come down and I have 2 beers, maybe 3 while I'm studying. I said, don't you realize alcohol is the biggest poison for your brain? Well, I feel fine. I said, I bet you smoke a little weed too. Oh, no, doctor. Come on, you're 25 years old. Be honest with me. Well, you're on weekend. I says, Joe, you were making $35,000 a year as a hospital echo tech. You come to work for me, you'll make $70,000 a year. You really want to pass that test? Yeah. I says, I want you to do this. I want you to totally cut out all alcohol, all pot, and you study like you're doing now, and you take that test. It's coming up in 6 months. Okay, Dr. Whitney. I says, you have lost $105,000 in pay because you haven't been able to pass that test. Listen to me. Alcohol and pot are brain poisons. Okay, Dr. Whitney. He did what I told him to do. And I saw him about 7 months later when I was making rounds. He had a grin when he saw me up to his ears. He says, Dr. Whitney, let me tell you something. I took that test. I finished it in half the time allowed, and I got 100, the highest score you can get. I had no idea that alcohol and pot impaired my higher cortical functioning, my brain. I says, what are you going to do now? He says, well, I'm going to stay off this stuff. And I says, well, I got a better idea for you. Why don't you come to work for me? You're a great tech. And he's been working for me ever since. Isn't that interesting? At double the pay. In the next week, I guarantee you some of you kids in this room are going to be asked to drink with one of your buds. Somebody's going to try to get you to do something illegal, smoke weed. I guarantee you, if you want to get ahead in life, this is absolutely the most important thing that you possess. Keep it clean of drugs and alcohol. I want you to get higher education because you make more money. You'll have better quality of life. And I'm not telling you anything that you can't believe. What do people do when they get drunk? They make great decisions? No. They get in fights, they wreck cars, they fall down, right? It is a brain poison. In small amounts, it affects your ability to get ahead. And I'm going to tell you something. In this room right here, you don't realize it, but there are 4 people in this room that are bona fide, certified geniuses. Do you know that? I love it. I love it. Do you realize that? In this room, there are 4 certified geniuses, and I'll guarantee you, you probably don't even know who you are. I had no idea I was a genius. I thought I was a dummy. When that guy got a hold of me and says, you want to be good on the court, you get good off the court, you get paid for this, that changed my life. And I hope you have that same kind of change in your life. There's a couple other things that I want you to realize about life in your school career. How many of y'all hate homework? Put the hands up if you hate homework. That's all? Okay. Interesting. Interesting. I'm going to give you an example. You take somebody who plays basketball for 5 hours a day and another guy who plays basketball for 1 hour a day. Who's going to be the better ball player at the end of the year?
The 5 hours.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Now you get paid for brains, right? You get paid for brains, right? Who's going to be the smarter person, more educated, better able to deal with the problems of the world? Somebody who never did homework compared to somebody who does 2 to 3 hours every day. Who's going to have the better brain?
1 hour.
The guy who does homework, absolutely. Now I want to tell you something about your teachers that you probably don't know. Your teachers are on a salary. What does that mean? They make the same amount of money every week no matter what they do. Okay? Now, if a teacher gives you homework, what do they have to do with that homework? They got to correct it, right? Right?
Yes.
Now, teachers on a salary, do they get extra money for correcting homework and giving homework?
No.
No. So when a teacher gives you homework, what does that prove to you about that teacher?
She wants you to learn.
Absolutely. That teacher wants you to learn better, wants you to get ahead in life better. Everybody understand that? You ought to thank your teachers when they give you homework because they are laying it on themselves at no extra pay. I'm going to tell you something. You got a couple of good teachers here. How many of y'all know Mr. Lopez back there? Raise your hand. I'm going to tell you something about this man. Come on up here. This is an impressive person. He grew up on the west side, went to Lanier High School. His dad fixed cars that got in car wrecks. Okay? He's not a doctor's son. He's not a titan of industry's son. He's a regular guy, regular parents. Do you realize he graduated number 29 in his class at Lanier High School out of 450 students? Top 10% right here. Not only did he graduate with distinction, it was also all-city in football. Did you know that? All-city, linebacker, starting linebacker. He knocked a lot of sense into a lot of people playing football. He's got a master's degree. Do you realize that? You do? Absolutely. He's got a master's degree in counseling.
Oh, yeah.
He's cool. And I want to tell you something about that. If he were to take his energy and his education and put it out in the business world, how much money do you think he'd make compared to doing what he's doing now? He'd make double. What does that tell you about him as a person? He loves you kids. Don't get confused. He may discipline you. He may give you homework. He may try to get you to work harder and be better. That is in his heart. He is here because he loves you. Your teachers are probably, other than your parents, the most important people in your lives. And you got some great guys here. I'm serious. Give it up to Mr. Lopez. Come on up here, Vicki. Yeah. How many know Miss Root here? She's different. She's different. She has ADD. You know what that is? Deficit disorder. Makes it really hard to learn. She had to struggle to get through school. She really did. She had to struggle to get through school. And she got through college. She's done all sorts of stuff. She's worked in the nursing home administration and stuff. She likes you kids more than anything. She gave up other jobs to come here to be with you kids. Now, why is this an asset to her? She's not an academic star like Mr. Lopez. What do you think she has that can really help you kids here in the classroom? She understands how hard it can be for some people to learn. Do you understand that? She's more empathetic. She has a plan in her life to go to Africa and set up an orphanage to take care of kids, orphans in Africa. Isn't that cool? This lady's got a heart the size of the state of Texas. You've got incredible teachers here, and they're going to help you kids get to the next level. How many people hate it when the teachers bug you about being on time? Raise your hand. Okay. Now, this is interesting. You hate it, don't you? And I'm going to ask you, Jesse, Mr. Lopez, do you like bugging the kids about being on time?
Sometimes.
You hate it, don't you? Okay, and what about you? You hate it. People hate bugging you kids about being on time. Now, why do they do it? Well, let me tell you something. I have a business. You know, I'm a cardiologist. I'm a doctor. It is a business. What do you think would happen if my workers came in when they felt like coming in rather than when they're needed, and I don't get to see my patients on time? What do you think would happen to my business? They would go see another cardiologist who'd be on time. Does everybody understand that? It's rude to keep people waiting. And if they don't have to, they can go see somebody else, they'll leave. To me, it is a business decision, to be on time and hire people who are on time. Very interesting. What do you think is my office policy for people who are late?
Fired.
Not the first time. Third time they're late,
Warning?
they're gone. I cannot afford to have people that don't show up on time. When your teachers discipline you about being on time, what are they proving to you? What are they proving to you?
That they don't care.
They've proven to you that they care.
Oh.
Everybody got that? Because in the real world, if you are late to work repetitively, you will be let go. We don't care how good you are, we cannot have people being late. When your teachers discipline you about being on time, they're doing it out of love and caring about you. That's something you really need to understand. You got an incredible faculty at this school. If you take their advice, do what they tell you, you're going to get ahead in this world. Now, the last thing I want to talk about before I go is something about what I really like about my job and where I want to go and I want the society to go. The coolest thing about being a cardiologist is I really get to help people. People come to me every day, they're having pain, they're short of breath, they're passing out, and I had a guy come to me the other day, it was so funny, he just had a little funky pain, and I said, well, you're a little overweight, you're a smoker, we better check your heart out. Sure enough, he had severe artery blockages. I mean, he had one foot in the grave and the other on a banana peel. I mean, this guy was ready to die. Got him surgerized. He's on his 4th post-op day. He's going to leave the hospital this afternoon. He's doing that well. This guy's going to be alive and well for a long time, thanks to his wife getting him to come to me because he was having a little funky pain. Interesting. This guy's going to be alive. His wife and family, they all love me. I'm going to tell you something. It's really a cool feeling when you get to help people. And that's the thing that's part of the job that I really like, is that I really get to help people. And I want you kids in this room to be extremely successful in life. I want you to get into a job that you like and pays good money, because I'm going to tell you, in the real world, the fun jobs pay more money. To get them, you have to have education and good behavior. You got to be on time, no drugs, no alcohol. Don't get in trouble with the police. If you got a friend who wants you to go with him while he jacks a car, what should you tell him?
No.
No, absolutely. What are you going to do if your friend wants you to cut school?
No.
Absolutely. Say, hey, look, I'm not going to cut school, and you shouldn't either. Don't you want to get ahead in life? You're getting ahead because of school. I'm going to tell you something. This program that we started, in the next several years, I hope we spread to all of San Antonio. I hope that you're going to meet a lot of people who have a lot of different jobs that they like and pay good money. And one of these people you're going to meet, you're going to want to be like. I say, I really think I'd like to be a cardiologist. I really think I want to be an investment broker. Or I really want to be an attorney. I really want to be a veterinarian. I want to be a dentist. You're going to meet somebody in the next several years that has a job that you want to be. And I want you to realize that dream, that job, by doing your best in school. When you get home, do your homework first. Everybody got that? Do your homework first. And when a teacher gives you homework, you thank them, because they're proving to you that they care enough about you to put work on themselves at no extra pay. And the last thing I want to tell you before I let you all, if you want to have questions, I'll be happy to answer your questions, is what do you do in 10, 15 years from now when you are very successful in life and making a lot of money and loving yourself and your job and your family and your kids? What do you do 10, 15 years ago when you were very successful? Because everybody here can be successful. What should you do then? Give back. You got it. You're smart. You might be a good pediatrician. I really think you could be. Give back. It is the greatest feeling in the world, giving back. This program I've donated over $2 million to in the last 15 years developing it. It's the best money that I've spent. I've been to Africa hunting game. I've been fishing for sailfish all over the world. I've gone all kinds of cool things. The thing I enjoy the most is seeing you kids get happy and do well and learn something about life. Give back. Whatever you do, when you're successful, you've got to give back to your community. Any questions? Questions? No?
Woohoo, Dr. Whitney!
Yay. Show up to school.